Endorsement deals for college athletes was supposed to clean up the murky, sometimes corrupt, often questionable world of NCAA recruiting. But not even a year in, two of college football's top coaches now accuse each other of highly unethical behavior. First, Nick Saban of Alabama, and then the Texas A&M coach.
We were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player.
It's despicable that somebody can say things about somebody and an organization. More importantly, 17-year-old kids. You're taking shots at 17-year-old kids and their families. That they broke state laws. That they're all money. We bought every player on this group. We never bought anybody. No rules were broken. Nothing was done wrong.
Well, both of those statements cannot be true, and determining who is lying will be an ugly process for the coaches, players, teams, certainly their fans and supporters. Doug Eldridge ran college track, now works as a sports agent and attorney. Doug, good to see you. I'm almost surprised it took this long, huh?
You know, it's ironic, Leland, you and I spoke almost 11 months to the day, June 21st of last year, surrounding the SCOTUS opinion when they affirmed the lower court in a unanimous 9-0 opinion. I said to you then, don't pay as much attention to Justice Gorsuch, who authored the opinion for the court, but rather Justice Kavanaugh, who really had a scorched earth approach to the NCAA's model. And I said the asteroid is in the atmosphere in terms of college athletics as we know it. It hasn't hit yet, but it's coming. And soon thereafter, the NCAA waved the white flag. And in the near year since then, we've seen that exact Wild West that you and I discussed and predicted. And I don't insinuate impropriety or illegality, but rather the lack of restrictions and structure. Now,
right.
When there's Coach Saban's.
Yeah, when there's no rules, right, that's what happens. You got no rules, a lot of money. Alabama football 2021 name, image, and likeness earnings, $3 million spread across 25 players. The Texas A&M athletic director said, quote, there are sportsmanship bylaws in the SEC. We believe Coach Saban violated those bylaws. How does this get adjudicated without ruining some careers?
Well, I don't think this is going to ultimately ascend to the court of law. I think this is going to be tried in the court of public opinion. And you talked in a prior segment a moment ago about perception.
Sometimes the court of public opinion is even more brutal than the court of law, right?
Make no mistake, it moves at a much swifter pace, it's not subject to the same evidentiary standards, and it renders a damning verdict. Sometimes the mere allegation is far worse than the actual conviction. And to your point, I'm going to make an unpopular statement here. Coach Saban made a brilliant PR move here, and hear me out. Here's why. Number one, it was the bat signal to his boosters to start stacking sandbags that we need a larger reserve. And number two, it was an indirect flare gun to the NCAA to say, hey, I'm naming two institutions by name and coaches with Jimbo Fisher at A&M and Coach Deion Sanders at Jackson State. Don't kick the hornet's nest that is Deion. He's going to come for you. But specific allegations of impropriety. And furthermore, Leland, in that same statement, he said, you know, I think the NCAA needs some level of antitrust protection. That wasn't an inadvertent soundbite. That was specific statement by Coach Saban. So not only did he encourage his boosters to donate and start stacking sandbags, but he also, you know, made that indirect allegation. Now, I would never be the first because you don't know and I don't know. Who knows what A&M or Jackson State or any other university is doing? But here's the reality. College athletes for the first time last year were given the opportunity to make money off of their same name, image, and likeness. And you're old enough to remember the Fab Five at Michigan. Jalen Rose and Chris Webber famously said in the early 90s when they would walk into the Michigan bookstore as the first set of 5 true freshmen to go to the NCAA finals, they did it 2 years in a row. We'd walk into the bookstore and we would see our jersey with our number and our name on the back selling for $100. Not only did we not have 2 nickels to rub together, we couldn't buy that $100 jersey. We couldn't accept $5 from a booster or a friend for a Big Mac. So there's always been this lack of levity and equality across the NCAA landscape.
Doug, I love that we have you because I don't know if you're a Nick Saban fan or not, but I am, and I'm glad there's somebody defending him out there after all of this. Although you and I may be the only ones. Take a listen to players, coaches, everybody else going after him. Sure.
So you mean to tell me the man that signed more 4- and 5-star recruits that everybody went there because they love Alabama? These kids coming from California ain't never been to the country in their damn life want to go to Alabama.
And I think a lot of people would see this as potentially hypocritical because everybody has assumed that for a long time, Nick Saban had been cheating and paying players and under the table.
Coach Saban, you wrong for this. You dry snitching. Ain't nobody ask you nothing. Worry about your program.
Now, though, it seems like Nick Saban sounds like a little bit of a hypocrite.
Yeah.
A little bit of a hypocrite in all of our eyes.
Everybody hates a winner.
That's so true. And I don't have a picture, obviously, here in the studio, but I know that first voice, and that was Shannon Sharpe, and I love him to death. And he makes a great point. But let's look back. 10 years ago, the worm on the hook for attracting college athletes was, look at how we've expanded our stadium. And look at the numbers. Texas A&M had a huge expansion. So did Michigan. I mentioned them a moment ago. Look at the facilities where you can play. Look at the number of prime-time televised games. Look at the exposure you'll have. 5 years ago, it was about locker rooms. Look at how NFL quality our locker rooms are. That was the new shiny worm. 2 years ago, it was a swag fest. We're a Jordan school. We're a Nike school. We're an Adidas. Here's how you'll be kitted out, you know? And now, a year later, it's look at potentially, wink, wink, what you can or cannot do based not only on your on-field ability, but your off-field marketability, what you can bring for yourself while contributing to this university. Now, I wouldn't vilify Coach Saban or Deion Sanders or Coach Jimbo Fisher or anybody else, because I've always been I'm an unapologetic capitalist, right? Don't limit opportunity and earning potential. But I've also been an unwavering advocate for these young men.
Yeah,
because I've had the privilege and opportunity to sit in the living room and talk to mama, talk to the aunt, the uncle, the daddy, whoever it is. Give them that chance.
You make a great point. And also, boy, ahead of us is the Wild West with many, many, many more millions of dollars if, as you say, the boosters start sandbagging up and putting in more dollars. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Great to see you.